AV SuperFriends on Topic is an independent production wholly owned and operated by AV SuperFriends, LLC. For the highest quality recording of all of our shows, visit avsuperfriends.com. This is AV SuperFriends on Topic, a 30-minute monthly roundtable focused on a single topic. This discussion will be opinionated, to the point, and saturated with our well-known blend of painfully won expertise and deeply ingrained immaturity. For May 2026, but we're recording in April. We know it. It's the best sounding and most audio-focused podcast in higher ed. This is the AV SuperFriends on Topic, episode number 70.
We got it.
Two good ones.
7D.
7D. Broadcasting live across the frequency spectrum from the low-end rumble to the high-end hiss. It's the podcast that knows bad gain structure can ruin a room faster than bad leadership ruins a department. So grab your headphones, check your mute status, and pray nobody routed the far end back into the program feed. I'm Chris Decker, and it's time for another Friday afternoon podcast adventure, and let's say hello to our panel of august AV super friends. Our first panelist,
Come on, push the button.
Misfire. Our first panelist oversees institutional preparedness from the sacred moment when someone says, "Can everybody hear me?" and nobody can. He's an executive director of playback readiness and speaker confidence from Kansas City. Say hello to Mr. Jamie Reinhardt. Whoa, sorry. Misfire, look at that.
The magic is all in the feedback loop.
It seems right.
You want to make sure you have that.
Special feedback.
Our next panelist specializes in making sure every guest speaker starts off their video with the laptop audio still selected instead of the room system. He's a senior audio experience curator from Corvallis, Oregon. Say hello to Mr. Mark Kolozinski.
I like to make sure everybody can experience just a little bit of sheer terror for a couple seconds just to start off every meeting, because that's the best way to get everybody awake.
Get your heart moving.
Right.
Get your blood pumping.
I just pushed the wrong button.
That's fine.
Our next panelist coordinates low-frequency equity across campus, so no building is left without at least one room that mysteriously rattles when the volume is turned up past 80%. He's an associate dean for distributed woofer affairs from Greensboro, North Carolina. Say hello to Mr. Larry Darling.
Yep, I put woofers in every room, but it's just for looks. I don't actually wire them up.
Woofer affairs.
Mm-hmm. Woof, woof.
Not dogs, Justin.
Yeah, not dogs.
Our next panelist ensures every campus event, classroom lecture, and video conference is played at a volume that is somehow both too loud and yet not enough. He's a vice president for strategic loudness alignment from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Say hello to Mr. Justin Rexing.
At least 99 dog biscuits in every classroom.
Oh, your money back.
That has audio.
If we need audio.
If we actually need it, it's got to be 99 dog biscuits.
Oh my God.
I do like that people are using dog biscuits. So on today's show, we're going to discuss deploying audio in classrooms and why, however we do it, is wrong. Okay. But first, a little bit of housekeeping. If you are listening to this as a recorded MP3, remember we do stream live on Fridays at about 3:15 Eastern to 12:15 Pacific, or whenever Mark finally finishes asking whether the room is getting enough coverage. You can join us live for that on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you can't join us live, we still want you to connect with us on the socials. Follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Also, Blue Sky for both of you over there. You can follow us there to keep up with the latest updates, news, fresh opportunities to hear us complain about bad speaker placement, uneven coverage, and the ongoing crime of relying on display audio in rooms built for actual humans.
Ooh.
Finally, don't forget to spread the word. Share this podcast with your friends, colleagues, enemies, perfect strangers, and especially that one person on campus who still thinks a pair of mismatched computer speakers can adequately cover his lecture hall. If you could go tackle people in public and force them to listen to a few dozen episodes, that'd be great. Consider it a public service announcement for better audio playback. If you want to support the show, please consider donating. Your contributions help us to keep bringing you the honest content you love or love to hate with more clarity and less compression than the average classroom speech reinforcement system. You can find the donation link in the show notes or on the website. And we're always eager to hear from you. So if there's a topic you want us to cover, loudspeakers, DSP, speech intelligibility, conference room nonsense, event space disasters, why half the rooms out there sound like announcements being made from inside a trash can, all that stuff. Send us an email or comment on the social media. You can hit us up via email on or at mailbag at avsuperfriends.com. I'm scrolling and trying to do two things at once here.
You're reading a wiki
Finally,
page?
while you're listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you happen to find us, please leave a rating and review. That forces more people to hear what we're talking about. And like a properly designed distributed speaker system, it'll reach more listeners. So we think we'll debate that in a minute. So,
I'm not here.
And thank you for your support. We could not do this without you. And unlike some campus sound systems, at least we know where the audio is supposed to go. All righty. Well, let's see. Why are we here? We've got a topic this month. 'Cause this
Topic
is
of the day.
On topic. It's topic of the month, Jamie.
The month, which
There's a jingle.
which came from you, Jamie.
Topic of the month. Stay on topic.
And
This is
month's
Mark's
topic.
fault.
This is Mark's fault. This started a debate about 3 weeks ago. Just out of nowhere, it became a very passionate, shouting match at each other as to how we do audio in our.
This isn't
teaching
where it
spaces.
started.
That's not where it started.
No,
And I don't think that's the correct exact
okay.
way. See, this is how it
All
all
right.
went sideways.
Justin,
you
went
asked a dumb
ballistic on
question.
people.
Yeah, what was the dumb
I
question?
didn't ask a dumb question. You asked a dumb question.
Mark asked the dumb
What was the
question.
dumb question, Jamie? Remind me, because I ask a lot of dumb questions.
You said, "What are you all doing for sound?" And
I think it was it speakers specifically though?
Like,
Yes,
It
you
was
go.
speakers.
How do you feel
specifically.
about JBL speakers or something dumb
It was
like
something
that?
like it was around cans versus point source, and it just erupted into a whole back channel of nonsense and heated.
We answered, and then Justin went off on us.
Oh yeah, we were all clearly wrong based on uniform coverage standards, blah blah, whatever that may be. But yeah, I was curious around ceiling cans or not, or just having some speakers at the front of the room, and then we got into
It's diapers, Mark. It depends.
I know. And then, are we doing speech lift? Are we not doing speech lift? Or do we still do speech just from the cans? Or are you doing it from the front as well? And then
I do speech only in my subs.
Why are you doing speech from the can?
right, because I'm lazy.
Well, what can?
The
What are you talking about,
the
Chris?
I
can.
like to-
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
like
get
to
the
sit on the
string
can
between
and
them.
just pontificate verbally and
So I think there's several different things going on here. And so let's start with the ceiling cans versus speakers on the head wall. Where are we at on this? And let's pick the simple solution. I don't want not depends by location. That's not a viable answer here. Let's take a small classroom. And whatever you're conjuring in
With
your
your ceiling
mind,
type.
Every time, define
With
that.
small
What's your
classroom.
ceiling type?
The
drop ceiling.
30 seats.
the same
30
that
seats.
Jesus had, a drop ceiling and everywhere else in a little tiny 25 by 25 room. Yeah.
Ceiling speakers. That's my standard. That's what we go with.
Okay. Jamie, play your cards. Let's see them.
both.
Both all the time?
Every room has both.
Why?
There for a while I did. I don't do that much
But
anymore.
only one program speaker.
Or
No,
were
there
you
was-
smoking while you were doing
For-
that?
So probably 60% of all rooms
Mhm.
have ceiling cans, voice lift
Wow.
of some sort, 70 volt voice lift. And it's voice lift. I'm going to say that again.
Voice
It's
lift.
voice lift. Period. Voice lift. And then I did have point source at the front. And I was one of those fools who ran left and right. Now that was back when we had
Oh my God.
Blu-ray
That was-
discs and analog outs from computers.
I need it
and-
for movie mode.
Yes,
Yes,
I need
I
it
can
for
see
movie
this.
mode.
Okay.
So everyone in that room has the same experience, no matter where they sit.
I want to let's
Absolutely
come back
not.
to that
Just
in a
like the
moment.
movie theater.
I want to come back
You
to that.
spend $40 a ticket to go into the movie theater and sit in shitty
let's-
spots. So why not in the
No, you
classroom?
don't. You stand in line or get your reserved seats.
Oh my
No.
god!
I
It's
like
the
sitting up
good
in
old
the back,
days.
right near a surround speaker. I want to hear what's
I
going on.
like to
Yeah,
find
I
the
want-
sub and just cozy up next to that. That's
I
the
only
premium
want to hear the
experience.
helicopter out of the left channel. I don't like it out of the right channel. It makes me feel weird.
Yeah. So at
Easiest and cheapest is not always right either.
I have tinnitus, so
now here recently,
Depends on criteria.
I'm not
it's,
sure what the answer to this was.
it's mostly ceiling voice lift speakers, and
that's
we don't do the front cans in small rooms. In big rooms, I do have a proper set of program speakers, and I'll still use ceiling cans for voice lift to get it all the way back.
exactly.
I might even delay said cans and have extra
Whoa.
program audio come through, but
okay.
That's just
But primarily voice lift.
I'm taking the other
Well,
side of
primarily
the spectrum
voice
where it's a lot of our rooms, but I'm not. I don't have the
30 seat rooms
exact
now.
number in front of me. But those small rooms, some workhorse JBLs bolted on the front
Yeah,
head wall, blowing across the room.
Oh
the
no.
smallest
Mm-mm.
gibbles you can get
23s. Put it out
up in the
there.
corner. Yep, those damn 23.
Price per.
No.
You guys are all sociopaths.
And it
Mm-mm.
actually
just you.
works.
I've not even gotten to my stuff yet. You cool?
It
No.
works.
No.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Why? You can put two ceilings in, cover everybody's thing.
And that
Yeah.
may be
What ceiling?
the case. However,
I don't even know why you're bitching. You don't even use speakers.
Yeah.
What's your ceiling height? 35 feet?
The Extron sound field, flat fields, they cover.
This is why this topic happened, everybody. This is now you see.
They're the standard 9.5 to 10 feet, and then you get the coverage cones. It's a 30-seat room.
Let's go.
Sometimes you can get to 4, but you don't need it. Like Larry said, those 4-inch or
Any of you
in
measure
Extron's
any of
case,
the
the
shit that
crappy
you do?
3-inch cans will get 180 degrees. Don't you know?
Do
It's
you actually
180
measure the
degrees
shit
for
that
two
you do?
frequencies, 3000 and 2000 K, but that's all right.
No.
That's fine.
Don't measure, test.
So
Why would you do
down.
that?
You don't
Justin,
test
that and
every standard classroom.
I do my calculators to know
Not
how many
every one,
speakers need
but
to put
like
in.
if you're going to do some weird shit that Jamie just talked about, like, what's
it's
the
fine.
effect of this?
It's fine. I tested every single one of them. I go, yep, good.
You're half
That's the official designated SAR method.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
And if it's 3/4 up on the volume control and it's too loud, we're perfect.
slightly painful.
And what seat?
Oh, well, I've
Yes.
covered everything. I have a big
It's
echo
brute
chamber.
force sound.
I mean, it's
just
covered. Don't
cover
worry
the
about it.
room with as much as you can.
Intelligibility. It's a 30-seat room that's made out of concrete blocks and linoleum floor.
That's why you should pay attention to it.
All right, smart guy, what do you got?
Like I said, it depends.
No,
For a
no,
30
no,
by 30
no,
room,
no.
It doesn't depend.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
does.
30 by 30 room, small
with a
classroom
drop ceiling,
with ACT. Yep, that's what we got.
with a drop ceiling, we are either in the 4 to 6 speaker range for 6.5-inch cans.
Mm-hmm.
There is no front.
I
wall
understand
speakers.
what the
Everything's
calculator
6.5.
tells me to do, Justin. That's not what I'm asking you. What do you
and
actually
everything
have?
is plus or minus 3 dB, and everybody hears at the same level.
How many rooms do you have that are this exact way?
1.
And a half.
My rooms?
Yeah.
Is that
I'm
me?
not
question?
sure how to answer this question. Where you work most often for your week, the rooms in which
I didn't
you
know you
do
were talking
things.
to me or Larry.
You.
What's
You're
the
the one-
percentage of rooms you would have that you think meet this criteria?
That are classrooms that meet the 30 by 30 criteria that are drop ceilings.
That have
within that?
this supposed depends on 4 to 6 ceiling cans equally distributed
I would
across
say
the ceiling.
probably 80%,
Okay.
90%. The other 10 to 20% don't have speakers because they can't afford it.
All right.
I do some math and try to figure out
Yeah.
the correct coverage area, but
Keep
it
them
is
away
not
from the
exact.
walls
Void-
as much as
So
possible.
let's.
We
don't
have-
wanna get
I have
close.
mod-
If you
modeling
put them close to
templates
the
that I've
wall, you
done.
get a better reflection angle.
Mm-hmm. You aim them off the wall. That's
Every-
why I get some
anytime-
delay off of that.
Yeah. Anytime that I do sound for a new shaped room, I drop it in ease. And I save that as a template. And then when it
What?
comes up again, when it comes up again, I've got it and it's already done. Now,
Okay.
will the
What are these
speaker
new
models
shapes you guys
change
are
a little
inventing?
bit? Maybe. But the general guide of how I do an auditorium, how I do a generic classroom, how I do a larger classroom with really low ceilings. I have one that's a 50 by 40 classroom with 8-foot ceilings. I probably have
You have to
20
drop
to
that in
25
ease.
speakers in that bitch.
Is that in a basement?
It's on the top floor of a.
You know you can build
building.
up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Build
Did they
diagonal.
run out of money?
You're acting like I'm the architect of this thing.
Sightlines in that room must, who cares about what
dude,
you can
sightlines
hear?
are bad. We struggled providing designs for that for years.
Is there any
That
way they
part.
could add a column like in the middle?
They fucking do. It's a ramp. It's a ramp column.
Can you
could
just
hug,
surround that
and
with
you can't-
speaker?
I've got long arms and I can't touch my fingers when I hug it because I was trying to measure it. I remember that. It was right in the middle. It's not exactly in the middle. It's like halfway back, but on the 1/3 side of the room. So if you sit in the back left quadrant, you're like not learning accounting back there. Because they're writing on the whiteboards. This is the whiteboard room that I talked about with come up and read that and sit in the back and read. It's that same room. So,
They can hear
anyway.
everything.
You default to, in most rooms, you default
Yeah, they
to
can hear
ceiling
all the
speakers.
accounting numbers. They just can't see them. That makes no sense.
You default to
No.
ceiling speakers.
Well,
In
yes,
most rooms.
most
Most
rooms.
rooms.
Auditoriums, I always try not to do fills, but sometimes I have to get the
Yeah.
plus minus 3 dB, but I
I think-
try to get everything from the front. And it's sometimes it sometimes just doesn't work out.
I think
just
large
did one.
spaces are it's a little more customized. But
I just
for the
did one though.
Cracker Jack box things, it's pretty basic.
We had a integrator come in, I don't know, 10 years ago, throw up some Rinkus Hines on the front wall in this auditorium. And
Oh boy, they were
it
the
just
steerable
wasn't-
ones, weren't
And it's
they?
not Rinkus Hines is bad. It's just not the right speaker for the space. And it just wasn't getting to the back. And they kept complaining. I was like, look, if you want it done right, we got to just redo the audio system and I'll drop it in ease. And I'll make sure the numbers match. And if the numbers match, you should be happy. So I dropped everything in, gave them the option. They griped and complained about the price. We had to put like 8 to 10 foot column arrays on each side wall, which is stage level. And they had to be 4 foot off the ground, which is terrible. I know, but it sounds.
But you
amazing.
got it.
It's got it. And everybody's like loving it, and they can have more events in there and not complain. And that's the goal, is just making sure you get it right.
Well, I feel like that's
So-
underpowered for the
No
event space.
delays.
We're talking
No
like
delays in there.
we want the full thing. We want
So,
trussing.
Mark, why do you go
Yeah.
with 2-point source on the front instead of ceilings?
Yeah.
This is baffling me.
Because
why do you
Instead of
choose the
ceiling,
front?
my ceiling is 30 foot in the
That's
air.
not- that-
and
not
that's
there.
that's a
60
different
foot-
space.
In his
Not there.
standard
We're
room.
going back to the
Yeah.
original question.
Smaller space.
What, mine?
No.
Me?
No, Mark's.
Mark.
Yeah.
Because it's probably the SAR method, to be 100% honest. And I think there's diminishing returns at a certain point. Now, is it technically right versus right enough to actually be adequate? We can go in there. And a lot of this came out of ease, not the ease software, but like deployment,
Ease address
Ease
or
of
ease
install.
ease
focus.
of install, right? And it's
So
not the wrong, like we're obviously doing this out of malice, but the smaller spaces, traditionally they didn't have speech lift. They didn't have all that. It was literally deployed as content playback. What do we need as content playback in a space like that? Minimum is what it kind of defaulted as, and that's where it came from.
Because I don't find it any easier to put them on the front wall and to drop it. Now,
No.
that said, I've been defaulting to the drop-in tiles.
Right. I think that this is
Yeah.
kind of where that conversation picked up, and we talked about that price for
2 by
deployment.
2 lay-in speakers on the front wall.
There you
That's
go.
You know, I'll be honest, I don't really give a shit about how easy something is.
Clearly.
What?
Clearly.
What?
Yeah. So
You don't get complaints for like,
Oh,
he
yeah.
doesn't-
Oh,
he
yeah.
doesn't
I
do
get
it.
complaints.
but you don't care.
No.
he's not there doing it. He doesn't give a shit. Yeah.
Now, do I listen and take in those complaints? Yeah. And would I change my method? Potentially. Now, would I sacrifice
Maybe.
the students' experience or the audience
Oh,
experience
sure.
for
Glad you added that
it
in.
being
For
ease?
sure.
Nope. Nope. It's not happening. And every time that I do a system now and I apply physics to it, I don't have to worry. I sleep at night and I always get, good feedback.
Mhm.
It's never no complaints since I've been doing physics.
So
on-
does that
Feedback's
mean your,
typically
your
bad.
feedback is actually at a better frequency than my feedback?
Higher pitched.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's as you started off, Justin. It depends. Like, we didn't even kind of get into criteria to have like voice lift or not voice lift and all these things. And I think that drives a lot of what's going on here. Is that the smaller classrooms historically did not have voice lift. They did have microphones and such in them for ADA capacity, but it was
Yeah.
not there for speech lift in the actual class itself.
Do you all
What's your all's cutoff for voice lift? Because mine keeps dropping. Anything with 40, or actually now it's 30 or more, we just automatically had it.
Larry, when
Oh.
you say voice lift, you mean
What?
capability or actively deployed?
Actively deployed.
If it's
Yeah.
not a sound bar in MySpace, if it's not a sound bar, it's got voice
If
lift.
it's not a conference room, then it has it.
Yeah,
See, that wasn't always the case here. I think
that's-
that's
That wasn't the case here either. I'm like,
yeah.
so I think mileage.
Well,
may
that's
vary.
why
happen.
I've been. I mean, look, we've talked about. Been overbuilding for years, but it's covered my rear in most cases, and I'm okay with it. But
Do you all have like a ton of dead battery microphone tickets that you have to contend with regularly?
No, those don't get tickets. We delete
No.
those.
since we have part timers that go around, most days the batteries are refreshed or charged. When they do the system checks.
How about broken
Well, yeah, you
mic
guys go in
So-
early, like at 5 a.m. and
which is
check
still
all
a
those
little
spaces.
nuts.
They don't have they don't have to, Aaron. They don't have to have voice lift and assisted listening system. It's best
No,
effort.
just laugh.
And we have a whole department of students this is no joke. We don't have a lot of hearing assistance systems in our classrooms because our best effort is our ADA office has student workers, and whenever we get a request, the student worker goes out and they write down all the notes and and all that stuff. Now is it
what?
Yeah. Or they do interpretations.
We have DAS office who goes out and checks for accessibility and features and make sure that they're given that.
And they'll sit there with the student and transcribe notes that the teacher's talking if they can't hear correctly, if they get a complaint, there's no hearing assistance in a room. So we don't have to have hearing assistance in every classroom.
You have to have the capability.
We deploy it when needed.
Yeah, I've stopped installing it. It was
even
part
if
of my
it's not deployed and we can't, they send people there to circumvent that.
Well, it was part of my standard for years and years and years and years and years. I have hundreds of these things out there. And about 2 years ago, I just stopped because A, they don't get used. And B, several of the students I talked to about it, as well as our DSS office, the students themselves hate those systems.
Yes.
Because now they have to self-identify.
Yep.
Now they have to make them, they have to wear the goofball headsets or something. And yes, there's ways to plug it in or get it to your phone. I get it. Oh, put in the hearing loop and it talks right. Yeah, I get it.
Sometimes.
Wait, you guys aren't doing underground concrete loops in all your classrooms?
Yeah, I'm putting loops in every freaking room. Yeah, that's not happening ever.
I don't want to
tearing up
make
concrete,
this an ADA discussion.
No, I'm just going to say, but we do provide the capability. So when that request comes in, just like you said, Justin, when the request comes in, we can go install one in the rooms that need it. And we bought a bunch of the Bluetooth ones to get Bluetooth in the room because those are already compatible with their hearing aids and they can use it and they don't have to self-identify and all that.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, yes. So it's that best effort. We make the effort. I'm not going to light up every space to have that stuff permanently installed. Yeah. But when the request is there, we will get it installed very shortly, within a day or two at most.
So Chris, what are you doing? You're the only one that we really didn't.
You know my answer to this. It's a two-parter. 720p mono. Everyone.
Mono can mean
mono.
That can mean all kinds.
Mono can be lots of places.
Okay, I have 72 channels of mono.
That's right. Yes. No, I actually go around. In fact, I did a site walk this morning with some integrators who are bidding on some projects. And as part of the scope, they are removing program speakers because I am removing program speakers from rooms. Those point source speakers at the front of the room that were never tuned properly and don't do anything. It's all coming out. You get an even sound field from the ceiling all the way down on all your content. Voice lift, program audio, I don't care what it is. Now, larger auditoriums, that's different, but in most rooms, even up to 75 seats or whatever, even sound field at the ceiling, down to the speech or to the seating level, no point source speakers in the front. So the number of point source speakers I've installed in the last 2 or 3 years, I'd say probably 20 maybe. So
okay.
So Larry brought up, and this was what I remember from our last argument is, if you're really starting to get down and do some crunchy math here, you got a presenter in the front of the room with the students in the front and they talk and the presenter talks and the student hears them directly before the mic and all that stuff and loudness and all that. So question is, do you all zone your speakers or how you want to duck the front row and then do it? You don't zone them front to back, you go left to right, follows the rows, right? So that I can bring this down a little bit versus the back and still have plus minus 3 dB. And that's what I mean about balancing everything out.
And Justin, again, I think me and Jamie are really leaning into the voice lift and you're going sound reinforcement.
I'm doing voice lift plus program.
Yeah, I don't want
Is that different?
It is, actually.
It is according to Jamie or Larry and Jamie.
It is on the definition of them.
No, I know that the sources are different, but at the end of the day,
we're moving air.
Everybody
moving air. At the end of the
equally. In the
everybody hears equally, but that doesn't mean that everybody gets exactly the same thing. It just doesn't.
I want to play devil's advocate here. Just for
I don't need to hear the instructor coming above me. That's distracting. That adds cognitive load.
Could I interest you in a Meyer sound constellation? I'll have you use one soon.
So
I can wrap you like a warm hug.
I want to go back to that small space because I think we're teetering into these larger spaces.
Yeah, the larger spaces all become a different.
I don't want to have that in the small, seemingly most affordable cookie cutter style system you're doing a lot of. I'm sensing a diminishing return of all this excessive widgetry in here, moving air, which arguably is competing with just my mouth in the room. How much more do I need to carry my voice 30 feet? I don't, I get it. There's soft-spoken people, and but I understand all that. But at a certain point, are we doing a sanity check? Like, are we really needing that much? And I don't care what the computer says. Do you need it in that space to actually have a functioning learning space?
That's what physics tells me.
Physics told you that? Or did your computer tell you that?
Yeah. Physics. I can get the same answer with my hand and a pencil that I can with a computer.
Right. So I think it's
as
about
long
that.
as the instructor's voice can be heard at X decibel with the last row and the first row, whether it's coming from the speakers or directly from that instructor's mouth, that's the goal.
I mean, have you stood at the front of this concrete room with a tile floor or whatever and just whispered and see how it just reverberates across that room? I feel like usually it's not about more audio. It's probably less audio in these spaces.
Again, physics.
But I think you're making choices that are implying additional stacks of technology in spaces. I have a hard time believing you absolutely need to have these things widespread across campus.
I also have a hard time believing you measure the noise floor in every room you're going to do that summer.
When it's a loud room, I do. Because we walk in and a lot of our rooms have self-contained air conditioner units that sound like a semi-truck driving by.
Wow.
And people say, I want to turn this into a Zoom room. Okay,
yeah, we say no at that point, but
no, I can't say no. Remember, I'm not allowed to say no with how we're funded here because they have money and they want to do something. By God, we got to do it. And so I'm like, okay, if you do this thing is at 87 decibels right now. That means I have to pump in 96 decibels for you to hear it, which means we have to cut off the fire alarm. Do you want to spend 50 grand on this sound system? No.
And
okay, good. And that's how we say no.
Now, I will say, when I walk into a room and I hear "Thank You, Good Night" from the performance that was going on last night, because it's still reverberating around in there, yes, we're going to take a different tack in here.
Yes. But no, I don't measure every room. I measure outliers and weird things that I come up with or come across that I haven't done before. Now, everything that I come across has been measured once.
One time.
At least once.
Okay.
In an empty space without any.
So let's go back and recap a little bit of where we got here today.
I don't understand what the
mileage may vary. Sounds like there's a mix. But I'm sensing ceiling cans are kind of back in vogue again.
Were they
not can
ceiling speakers, not cans.
Sorry for the miss.
Yeah, I'm like, if I have to cut a round circle, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly.
My team hates cans. We don't do them.
So lay in speakers that fit cleanly within the 2/4 whatever grid. Are you putting the trim piece in them? Do they look clean, or are you just dropping them in there with a ragged edge?
Depending on the model, they don't have trim pieces.
The thing is they're good enough.
Right there.
They're good enough.
See? And there it is.
They are not high quality. I mean, these are contractor grade. They're good enough. They're easy to install. They usually do enough that I need them to do within the frequencies I need to do them in. And
how much are we willing to spend for good enough? I think that's
$100.
That is where it all comes down to, is how we got into this mess.
$100 per speaker for the whole audio system.
Per speaker. $100. That's your price.
Or less.
There you go.
Like a pair for $180.
Mine are like
that's
$100 to
$150,
Jamie. Depending on whatever. But
up to $199 is $100. Let's be real.
$150, something like that.
I'm saying it's easy math to do. I need 8 speakers in this room. It's $800.
I had a manufacturer ask me not too long ago. So, would you guys be interested in 2x2s? Yeah, as long as you're not trying to make it concert grade, make it good enough, and I'll buy a crap load of them. If you try to make it concert grade and charge me $500 a pop, you can keep them, put them in the warehouse.
Now you got to be real careful because those 2x2s, they can get really shitty. I bought some. I won't mention the manufacturer.
I found some.
I had to throw them away from a new job and just buy new ones. It was so bad.
There are different levels, but if you buy from manufacturers that we're pretty comfortable with and they're at the right, they're fine. They're fine. They're good enough.
I have a stack setting in a warehouse that after the one room we did, I was like, nope, these are just going to sit here until.
Does the manufacturer begin with a Q by chance?
No, I don't think so. So we'll have to compare notes later.
I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Is it four letters out of Chicago?
but I don't know where they're from.
So you're telling me.
I have a handful of those. They are okay.
Is it the Quam ones?
So you can.
There you go.
So you're telling me you can.
We're trying to walk around it, but thanks, Jamie, because that's sponsorship.
Now, again,
I can't even believe you guys bought
manufacturers make different types of 2x2, so I might have just bought like the worst possible grade of, and that's just what they sell, and they're probably like, yeah, that's, you shouldn't have never bought those for a classroom.
Even they're like, dude,
why?
I'm
okay.
telling you, mount those
Yeah.
on the front wall. They're fine.
So enough good
It's
enough
got
will get you
infinite
great.
baffle.
Is that what I'm hearing? Enough good enough gets to great as long as you put enough.
Good
in there?
enough, get you there.
I mean, I'm not arguing that good enough is wrong. It's definitely right. It's just make sure you know what you're doing with some numbers, and you'll
Well,
be
you're saying
fine.
stack a bunch of good enough stuff up there, blow the thing out so it registers in green on my screen, and then we're good to go.
Yep.
If I can
Okay.
hit
That's it.
101
I mean, that's
dB
it.
in every classroom at every seat, and I'll dial everything back. We're
You're doing
We're good.
101 decibels per seat. What the hell
Why
is going
would
on
you
there?
ever do that?
I'm just going to get a reaction.
So
from
you're
you
saying
all.
your
Do
goal
it.
is to have everybody who's wearing an Apple Watch or a Google smartwatch, whatever, to get that
You
little
know
alert
that commercial
something-
where that guy's sitting in that
earbuds in.
chair and he's looking at that
Oh, the
TV
old-
and it's blowing his hair
Yeah,
back?
yeah, Max
Max
Cell.
This
Cell.
is, I'm doing it, and it's blowing everybody's hair down. It's
Yeah.
the audience came from the feeling.
I do not think that's the way to approach it.
No, but I mean
But
that's.
you will get measurements.
Yeah.
and
I
it'll-
do look
it-
for.
Yeah, but he
maximum
runs all the
dB that
faders
I-
down to like 25%.
Yeah.
He's fine.
And then next year he just takes all the speakers out and puts in ASLs because they all have hearing aids.
Now,
the
some
cycle
of
of
our
life.
classrooms can get to 100 dB, but we dial those back, and it's just because the equipment that's in there. It's just
You can
is
hear
what
the
it is.
transformer melting.
Yeah,
The chalk
They're not
dust is just
allowed-
bouncing up and down on the
Yeah,
chalkboard.
we don't allow them to turn it up that loud.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Next
Yeah.
you're going to tell me you guys are doing this all with low impedance.
Yeah.
Home runs,
Time for
every
that.
one of them.
Series parallel.
Which-
It'll
Wedged
get you
into
there
a
every
giant
time.
Euro block. Just
The biggest
Stack it
snake
up.
going to the lectern ever.
How many times?
And I
have
just
you
buy
all-
car amps because they're stable down to quarter ohm. We're good.
Oh, I got a question. How many times have you all had to wire in a bunch of speakers in a series parallel configuration because the integrator put in 4 ohm, 8 ohm speakers and there was 50 of them in the ceiling? And you
No,
wired them up all
why?
in
What are you
parallel.
doing?
they were all home run. Oh.
And all home run or all in parallel. And
Oh
you're
my
like, you know
God.
what? I'm just going to do a little bit of math and we're going to rewire this to series
Nope.
parallel, series
So
parallel.
Justin, I ran into
You've done
that.
that?
Oh.
I ran into that scenario 2 years ago in a space, and of course, I saw ceiling speakers throughout the space, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming
Oh,
it's
it's sure,
single
70
channel.
volt.
They were
Wrong.
wired in series, 70 volt. You know, everything was fine. No, they were all low impedance. They were all wired, and they were mixed too. And they,
Yeah.
like
What'd you do?
all wired home runs back to these giant blocks. I'm like, what is happening?
What did you do?
I replaced every speaker
All
You
of it.
did?
and then
See, I would-
rewired them because I didn't
Do I
want to deal with
replace
that.
them? Where the client didn't have the money to replace them,
Oh, no,
but we were,
College of
It was
Business,
on-
they had the money.
yeah. So we're like, I don't know what to do.
And
I
we've
guess
already
we-
established my budget for ceiling speakers. So
that was a good learning opportunity for some installers on how to do. home
So that's what I
swap.
did.
No.
I had a brand new
No.
technician and a couple of the lead student, and a couple other students. Like, hey guys, this is what you get to do for the next few days, and they now know ceiling speakers left, inside out, left
Yeah.
and right, and they can do them. So
Hey, Justin, I haven't done 50, but when I was doing installs at an integrator, I was sent off to program a system that was done. And I was the only one there at that job site. And it was like 3 hours away from our office.
Mhm.
And there were 12 speakers, and they were like that.
Oh
And so
my God.
I did the math and I
Did
rewired
you do
them.
series parallel?
I did. Yeah. I was like, I'm not driving back here. I'm going to fix this right now. And
How long did that take you to? Did you?
it took me a while to figure out what was happening,
The
why
math
everything
on-
sounded weird.
yeah, why everything
Yeah.
sounded weird.
yeah, started kept doing weird things. Like, what the hell is happening right now?
Climb up there and I was like,
You immediately get the overprotection
Yeah,
light
it's like,
come
I
on.
can't
on
even
the
turn
end.
this
Like,
thing on.
what is happening?
Yeah, by the way, the number of times I've gone into a room and found like, hey, there's a 70 volt or a 4 ohm, 8 ohm amp, whatever, and the opposite type of speak. I'm like, and these have been in here for years. Like, no wonder it
Yeah.
sounds. What has happening here? So it's not difficult, people.
We've replaced this amp 4 times. I wonder why.
Yeah, there's that. Like,
Something's wrong with this room. We just keep blowing 3 amps.
Well, I've told you guys a number of times. I go into a room and there's like an old Crown or AKG or whatever, but there's like a 600 watt amplifier and there's
70
4
volt.
ceiling speakers. And I think it's because
That's
this
my
same-
that's my 100 dB room, bro.
It's like that's
No.
that's
I think it's because
600
the same
watts.
com-
That's 70.
If you don't
70
have
volt,
a
you're good.
tour grade rack of Crown Macrotech amps in every one of your classrooms burning away
Those
back
things were
there,
bulletproof.
you're doing it
Well,
wrong.
and I think it's because this company kept blowing speakers and amps, and they were just like, "Well, just buy a bigger one, so it doesn't do that anymore." I was like, "That's not
You're
how
eventually
this
going to fry that
works.
one too. It's not how that works.
no, those
And then
Macrotechs.
when I show my
you
team
can
that we're
throw
putting in those tiny
anything
little
at 'em, they don't
amplifiers,
care.
so,
yeah.
Those Macrotechs were amazing.
Yeah.
I may have wired one of those things up completely backwards, like phasing one time, and watched it.
We're going to run this
shoot
at
things.
100 volt,
Oh,
I've-
Euro style.
I've-
How it
I've-
goes up.
do these plus minuses matter? No.
You ever,
Nope.
when you're
No,
doing live
not
rock
at
and
all.
roll, tying into like
They
a
don't, as long as you do them all the same. It'd be fine.
a panel, and you just have like
completely abused
shit.
one of the just learning stuff. Like, I wonder what this will do. Oh man, I am just amazed at what those Macrotechs used to do.
buy them by the pound.
Imagine the amount of stores we
Oh.
have just on speakers.
Yes.
Oh man. Well, Mark, did we answer any questions for you?
No.
Mark's
Oh.
not changing his stance.
No,
He believes
you have
everyone
not,
else
you
is
have
wrong.
not proved it. No,
What is there to prove? You don't prove or.
I think we've
physics.
proved the fact that good enough will take us to the future.
There we go.
And
Mark hates voice lift. Mark hates even coverage. Mark doesn't care if you can't hear the instructor.
nor does the instructor. So let's start
If
there.
Mark
yeah.
if Mark can't hear it, nobody should be able to hear it.
Well, Mark can't actually hear
Can't
anything.
hear
I know.
anything. I did live sound for way too many years. Yeah.
It's like Mark and I go to these shows and our headphones are like, oh my god.
Whenever we're here, Chris is like, turn your fucking headphones down. Jesus.
Oh yeah. Put on Mark's
You're
headphones that one
closed.
year.
You're closed can headphones that come back through your damn microphone.
I get feedback in my office just because my cans are too loud.
How do you and your wife talk at night? Does
What?
she
They
scream at you?
text.
What?
They just text.
Just text.
Just
They have individual little
we
megaphones.
don't. We have kids. We don't
They've
talk.
got kids, they don't
kids
talk.
going crazy. Yeah.
Usually it's good night and it's a head nod. Though.
Yeah. Wow. So anyway,
Right.
yeah. I don't know. I think
They get their megaphone and they use that.
isn't that how all your classrooms sound?
That's how Jamie's rooms sound.
Better.
Hey, the Ease says it's fine because it
Better.
says it's green. At the back of the room.
I ran the ease
I like
calculations on it.
the green bleeding into blue. That's what I want.
That's not how that works.
That's how it looks.
Green means good.
If the light is green, the trap is clean.
Green
All right.
just means that you have one constant dB.
It's green,
dog
Justin.
biscuit across all
It's
speed.
fine. It's fine.
That's plus or minus 3.
All right. Well, we're way over on our topic here. Any last thoughts, or I'm just going to hit this button. We're going to roll out.
Hit the button.
Cover the
All
space.
right, we're
Button.
Powered accordingly. Do something fun.
We're
to
done.
the
Get it-
ceiling. 2x2.
We're not.
down.
Get it good enough.
Thanks for putting up with yet another episode of AV Super Friends On Topic. You can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at avsuperfriends.com.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV Super Friends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients.